The DoorDash collapse is upon us as its stock absolutely cratered yesterday. And I think this is on the back of, I don't know if I've uploaded which order, but I also covered a McDonald's basically admitting that lower income people have been abandoned by McDonald's and also have in return abandoned McDonald's too. DoorDash had a massive collapse it collapsed over 20% because earnings have cratered in quarter three. And I promise you they're going to get worse in quarter four because nobody wants a $27 cheeseburger when they can go pick it up themselves for $4. People in America are sick of getting raked over the coals by this company. By the way, did you know that if you buy a cheeseburger on the DoorDash app, DoorDash marks it up? So not only are you paying for delivery and a tip, but DoorDash is secretly charging you more money too. And I reported on that in a video that went pretty viral. And I think more people know that now, and they're abandoning it in droves. This is a good story because DoorDash needs to go away, or at least they need to stop ripping us all off, including ripping off their own drivers. This whole story and more after a super quick word from this video sponsor. You ever feel like you're stuck in a habit that you don't even really think about? Maybe it's something you reach for during stressful moments while hanging out with friends or just out of boredom. I've been there about 1 million times in my life. That's why I was excited to try Fume, and honestly, it's been a total game changer. Fume, the sponsor of today's video, isn't just another vape or e-cig or nic product. It's something totally different. A simple, satisfying way to replace bad habits without inhaling anything harmful. Why Fume is different? Well, there's no smoke, no vapor, no nicotine, just natural flavored air that gives you something to reach for without any kind of chemicals. It is a mindful habit replacement. Sometimes breaking a habit isn't just about willpower, it's about having something better to reach for instead, and Fume gives you a great alternative. And it has flavors that actually taste great. My personal favorite is either the crisp mint or the orange flavor, but there's actually tons of other options to choose from citrusy to earthy to refreshing, and you can do whatever you like. Over 700,000 people have already added Fume to their daily routine, and I totally get why. It's simple, satisfying, and it doesn't come with any of the downsides of smoking or vaping. And right now, if you order the Journey Pack using my code QUARTERING, you get a free Fume topper. So if you've been thinking about changing your bad habits, this is the perfect time to stop. Go to tryfume.com/quartering or scan the QR code on the screen to grab yours today. I know I'm glad I did. DoorDash is an IQ test. Do you want a cheeseburger for $27 or will you go pick it up for $6? This says, I was a DoorDash driver during the lockdowns to make, I had so much extra time on my hands and made use of it. I had so many, and I mean so many orders where it was less than a mile away, and I was being paid $19 before tip to deliver McDonald's fries and Coke to people. I'm curious, what is normal tip on an order like this? Yeah, it's actually a good question. I'm a big data guy, so I figured out the best times and zones in Austin to DoorDash/Uber Eats, and I tracked it all in Excel. On average, low-income areas tipped $1.84 per order. That's really low. And high-income tipped $4.80 on average. It's crazy. Here you go. I've done 61 deliveries over the last 4 full weeks. I've been paid $243 in tips, or $4.48 per delivery. The largest tip I ever got was $88. I delivered 20 pizzas to a local business that was just 1.5 miles from the pizza place. That was cool, but my car smelled like pizza. I mean, people are, people are actually, sick of this. They're sick of it. Mom Donnie's going to crush New York's gig economy. $80 lukewarm cheeseburger delivered by an illegal immigrant who can't find your address even though he has a digital map directing him to step-by-step to your location is actually a bad business model. That's actually true. Or how about every time the app says it's Sharon and Shaniqua shows up? That's almost like almost like every time. It's almost never. Now I DoorDash extraordinarily rarely, but when I do, the driver almost never matches. Almost never. It's somebody who doesn't speak English, and I've watched them. Like it's a bigger problem in bigger cities. When I lived in Louisville, I would watch them drive right past my house, okay, and then leave my food at somebody else's house, and then just leave. And then I would call them, and they'd be like, well, you got to go get it. I'm like, what? No, you go get it. I'm not showing up on some stranger's property. Here's the reason for the collapse in consumption. Here's massive, here, transition into serious delinquency, 90 plus days for student loans by age. Look at this. Look at that. There is real economic problems that nobody's talking about because Trump's president. Everyone's just kind of like, oh, okay. Inflation is bad. Inflation is bad, or you ordered a private taxi for your burrito. Private taxi for my burrito. Maybe they should stop adding $30 in fees and people would use their service. Here's the thing. 6 days ago, we alerted users about an unusual $800,000 purchase of DoorDash, $220 strike option. Contracts expire 12/19. The company just announced disappointing earnings numbers, and the share price has crashed sub $200. This buyer's position will be worth upward of $6 million if the stock stays at current levels. I mean, you had some insider trading too going on. I mean, I don't know if it's bounced back at all, but I have a feeling it hasn't. DoorDash has the biggest one-day drop ever. A stock fell 17% on spending concerns. Again, if you take this in concert with my video on what's going on at McDonald's and with what things cost at the grocery store, and I know that things are tough out there and they're going to get tough. I saw somebody say that their financial advisor told them not to make any big purchases in 2026. I agree. And I've been open, well, not so open about, but like I've made cuts in my business. I've had to let people go. I had to let I had my co-hosts fewer spots because I'm trying to get not just lean in my actual physical form, but lean financially. Not necessarily because earnings are horrible. I mean, they've gone down. I've said, I've talked to content creators whose earnings are down 40% year over year with the same audience. But I just got this weird feeling, people are abandoning McDonald's. The prices are too high. Beef is too expensive. People are eating at home, which is a good thing, I think. It's just, I don't know. I don't think we have like an imminent collapse coming, but I do think we have an imminent reset coming. When you have people finally stopping using DoorDash, what that's telling you is people are now saying to themselves, it's not worth the extra money. Now, I don't know if they are actually, what we don't know yet is that if people that normally use DoorDash, are they going out and still eating out and just picking it up themselves, or are they not eating out at all? Those numbers, we don't know yet. But you see this, investors rejected the company's aggressive spending strategy. The CEO defended the company's spending decisions during the earnings call to solve problems for customers in the highest quality way. Bro, people don't want to use your service because it's too expensive. And quite frankly, I don't know any drivers personally who live off DoorDash, but all I ever hear is how they screw their drivers over. So even when I use it, I tip extra. I tip extra good. But then I feel like, wow, I don't want to feel guilty because this company is screwing over their drivers to tip even more after paying a delivery fee, remember this, I exposed this a while ago. Look at groceries. Groceries via delivery apps like Uber Eats and DoorDash can be 40% more expensive. They just mark it up in the app and then they keep that money, bros. They just keep that money. Convenience can come at a steep price. Choice has found with consumers paying as high as 39% more for groceries when they use a rapid delivery app. They found that including pasta, milk, and fresh vegetables cost on average 11% more on third-party apps, and delivery charges of between $5 and $11 significantly drive up bills. 7 out of 13 items, even at Aldi's, were priced higher on DoorDash than in the store. Not all items are increased in price, said the editorial director, but the majority of them are. I don't think there should be a markup for the goods. Cyril said there should be a markup for the delivery itself. Well, that's not enough money. I'm embarrassed to admit that I did not know they did this until recently. When you order a cheeseburger, DoorDash marks it up and then they keep the spread. Now, I don't know if some of that is shared with the driver or not, but they keep the spread for that. Isn't that crazy? So like they're marking stuff up 50 cents or $1, and then you order 5 items. That's an extra $5 they bilk off you, plus a delivery fee, plus you have to tip the driver. Americans have just said, I'm good. We're done on this. We're done on delivery apps. I think you're going to see major, major cutbacks on not just DoorDash, but Uber Eats and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I think it's criminal that they mark this stuff up because they don't tell you they do. It's marked up in a way that you don't know and nobody knows. Like, and it's just more expensive. It's just more expensive. Nobody really knows why. Nobody knows exactly where or how or any of this stuff. But they mark it up, which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's time for these apps to either get more value or they need to change course massively. Absolutely massively. We'll see which one happens. My guess is they'll go down on their greed. That's just my guess, though. Let me know what you think.